Hi, how are you? Welcome on into another podcast by George. Send out a thank you, for that intro. That's Tracy and Tom Murphy. They've got a long version of that. That's a short little bumper that I use at the beginning of the show. That's great stuff. And, I love talking about music. When I started this show 5 years ago, I'm celebrating my 5-year anniversary this month, folks. The subtitle of the show was News, Blues, and Interviews. But then I got into this thing and the world blew up, not literally, thankfully, but news wise. And I haven't been able to get on as much music as I would like. I do on occasion. And when I do, it's these folks that I like to talk to. Let me bring this promo up on screen. I hope that you saw this. This is what we were using to tout the show with. Where are you? There you are. And this is the YouTube promo. Wow, a new album, Ducharme Jones, live from Dogtown. I'm all about Dogtown, folks, because that's where I went to school. That is Drake University, is what they call Dogtown. But let me do an introduction here, and then we'll get to it, because I have a tendency to digress. Ducharme Jones are singer-songwriters, Dave and Annie Ducharme Jones. The two were introduced by mutual music friends in Northwest Iowa at the end of their teens, and their chemistry was immediate. They made their way to California, where they worked on original music and performed in Marin County and around the San Francisco Bay Area for 7 years. And they got stories, folks, and some of them goes into their songs too, California. But after reading an article in Rolling Stone magazine and ready for a change, they packed up and headed to Austin, Texas, where they performed and resided for 25 years before making their way back to Des Moines. Inspired by a lifetime of different musical influences, the couple began co-writing in 2012, producing and releasing their first album, Strangest Things, in 2016. Vagabonds and Poets followed in 2019 and was hailed as one of Iowa's top 10 records by Iowa Public Radio. Their latest studio recording, Unbroken, which you can see, let me use right thumb there. It's over my right shoulder all the time. That's my autographed copy of that. Unbroken was written and recorded during the pandemic. Just released a few weeks ago, live from Dogtown. Of course, I'm a huge fan. Let me move the microphone here. You can see that. I got the merch to prove it, folks. I go to a lot of the shows. I mean, I just love these guys. And this is kind of an indulgence for me. This is, like I said, it's a celebration for my 5th anniversary of the show, because I love talking to these folks and I love talking about music. Let me take this off the screen here and click a couple of buttons there and bring them in. There they are, Anne and Dave Ducharme Jones. Hi, guys.
Hey, George.
Hey, first of all, congratulations on 5 years. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I hope it keeps going. I'm kind of hitting my stride. I've had a couple of highlights just here recently. Last week, I interviewed Dr. Cornel West. He is an independent, a Green Party, third-party candidate for the presidency. And then tomorrow, I'm going to have Lee Camp back on the show. And, of course, he's a big-time left-wing commentator, comedian. I mean, he'll make you laugh, but he'll also make you think. And I've got him coming back on the show. So we've got, great shows. The show is getting better. It's getting bigger all the time. And I'm in 5 years of it now. And like I said, I love to do this stuff. I love to talk to you guys. And so this is kind of my, 5-year anniversary present. And by the way, congratulations on this. It was in the promo. This is live from Dogtown. This is the new record. And I love live music. And I saw on your website a quote from Neil Young saying that, live music is the best. And you guys are the best live. And Dogtown, let me bring this up on screen. This is what we're talking about. This is the venerable Drake University. I graduated from there. I kind of stalled my way through that. I don't know how I got a degree. I mostly paid for it with my parents' money, but I did manage to get a degree. And then, of course, we're talking about this venue, which is XBK. But again, let's get them back on screen. And so, we got these 3 albums that I mentioned, and then you guys decided to do a live one. What was the motivation for that? Was it simply that you had the content from the venue, or was it time to do a live album for other reasons?
Well, when we moved Monday Night Live over to XBK, we realized that they offered a lot more production value.
Yeah.
And we're able to record the shows and do like multi-track recordings. So I took advantage of that and we started recording the shows, I think,
2022.
Yeah, like the 3rd show in, I said, let's roll on these and just send them my way. I'll dump them out and see what we got. And since we were playing every last Monday there for a while, we were recording all those shows. So we amassed, quite a few, tracks to listen to and choose from. So.
We actually weren't playing that frequently at XBK. We were playing every few months. We used to play every last Monday at the Greenwood.
Well, we got quite a few shows.
Yeah, but we had a few shows we drew from. Yeah.
For every, I think the tracks on this span from a year, between years.
Something like that. Maybe not quite a year, but yeah.
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, I think 10 songs here. Kind of, I remember Bruce McCabe, a guy that I really like out of the Minneapolis area. He did an album one time called 10 the Hard Way. How do you pick the 10? That's the other thing, Dave. I mean, how do you pick and choose songs to use?
Well, I think lately we've been thinking less is more, don't kill them. We could have put, 15, 20 tracks on there, but we've got a bunch more left, that we could go from and mess with.
I think one of the exciting things about doing a live record with this band is that we had such stellar performances by our band members. So when we perform live, there's so much improv and really cool stuff that's happening that we don't have on a studio record. And it's just fun to have that on an album. Yeah. And we've always wanted to have a live record.
Right.
Yeah, we should mention Scott Sutherland. He's on bass on some of these songs. Tanner Taylor on keys. Jimmy Stevens, I love Jimmy. He's on the drums and percussion always. And you've got appearances by Ben Mars, Gabe Scheid on flute, and Amanda Nicole on violin. And this XBK thing, I want to bring this up here. Let me see if I can show this on screen, because this is really cool. This is what we're talking about, folks, and this is what I really like about going to see them. This is from behind the stage, kind of looking out. This is from Lebowski's photography there that you see. And I look at this, I got to tell this story because this is how it strikes me, because you don't get to see, people like me, we don't get to see it from this perspective. But Ann and Dave, I got to be friends with Big Head Todd and the Monsters. And many years ago, I got on stage with them. I was off on the side of the stage right at Red Rocks. And I'm looking up at the crowd, and what that venue's like. My God. And I'm looking up and all these people are looking down at them. And even that XBK shot that we saw where you're looking out at the crowd, it makes me understand and appreciate why you do what you do, because there's this mutual, I don't know, love thing. I don't know what it is, but I looked up at that crowd at Red Rocks, I thought, man, those people, every single one of those people really like this. They really love this band. They paid good money to see this band, and they're getting their money's worth. Man, this is a really cool deal. I mean, that was a highlight for me, being just stage right there at Red Rocks and being able to see that, as a non-musician. It really meant something to me. But you guys get to experience that, at venues all the time.
Well, and I think you can feel that energy as a musician up on stage when you're performing. If your audience is right there with you, I think the quote after that Neil Young thing was something I came up with, which is kind of this effervescence that happens between the audience and the musicians, And so we have some really incredible moments during live performances when that's happening. You're just being fueled by everybody in the room.
Yeah, I want to encourage everybody here to comment, ask questions here. I'm going to put this on the screen here, because this is your chance to ask a question and make a comment on this music. But let's kind of, helicopter here. Let's go up above and take a look at this, starting from the outside in, the album cover. Now, I don't know if you did this on purpose or not, Annie, but that typography, the color of that, those are Drake colors. Drake's colors are kind of a baby blue. Did you do that on purpose?
I didn't even think about that.
No.
Yeah. Live from Dogtown. So,
well, you know why I picked that color? Because the way the lighting was on my hair looks blue.
Yeah, I see that.
So I picked out that blue to kind of go with the Dave's shirt and kind of complement some of that.
Just happens to be just a happy coincidence there. Again, God, I don't want to talk about Big Head Todd and the Monsters all the time, but they did a song called Muhammad Ali. And I talked to Brian Nevin, the drummer, one time, and it's got a real snapping snare drum sound in it. And I said, I listened to that, and that sounds to me like a Muhammad Ali jab. And he looked at me and he said, that's what I was going for. And I think I was probably the first guy to say that to him, but yeah, I'll never forget that. Let me see here. Let's see. Let me bring this up on screen. Bernadine says, I did not ask to see the show. How can I make the video stop? I'm not interested in music. Oh, sorry, Bernadine. Yeah, it's easy.
What can we do to help her?
Have a good night, Bernadine.
Yeah, it's easy to X off of that. Okay, let's play some music here. The songs here. And it was no surprise to me. If I had been your record producer, I would have picked probably Beautiful on You to start with. To me, this is an anthem type song. I mean, it's a huge crowd favorite, obviously. It's the kind of song that I listen to and I think, 20, 30 years ago, this would have been a huge hit. I mean, it would have been all over the radio, but the demography of the country changed, music changed, and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I listen to that and I think, this is the one. This is what I would have started with. What made yours thinking? What went into that to make it the first song?
Well, it's a pretty good recording, live recording, and we used it as the lead track on Vagabonds and Poets.
Yes,
and we've used it we used to use it as a closer a lot.
Yeah,
we closed the set out. But it seemed like it fit the front, and it just set the tone. I couldn't think of another song that really kind of set the tone and let everything else just fall underneath it.
I think it's kind of an uplifting love song too. It's a lot of good energy.
It's a great way to start. And Annie, I know I've told you this before, and I'm going to play just a little bit of these clips. The portion that I selected for the clip in the song, it's got this rain coming down silver and blue. I mean, I love that imagery, the lyrics in this song. I don't know what it is, but every time I hear, and it makes me want to sing along that segment of it. And I'm not much of a singer, but when you guys play that, I love singing that silver and blue part of this. It's that's my favorite part. I'm playing here. We'll come right back. There you go. That's 26 seconds of it anyway. And that's, I just did that. It's kind of jumping into the middle of the song, but I really like that lyrical imagery in that song.
That was one of those songs that really just spilled out. It kind of wrote itself, and I love that when that happens.
Well, I want to kind of track through this, go through this I'm going to play like 3 songs. I think we're not going to play them all, but I want to mention them all. And the next song right off, and this is high up on the album, Russians. Now, this is a cover song by Sting. A couple of things that are remarkable about your band and what you guys do and your talent. Your original stuff is great. I mean, I was kind of surprised to see there's 3 covers out of the 10 on this album, but you go see a lot of bands and most of their show are cover tunes, and that's what people like. But your original stuff is every bit as popular. And this Russians thing is very interesting because, of course, it's talking about Ukraine and the situation with the Russians and all that type of thing. And I thought, oh, God, you're going to get political. You're going to alienate people one way or the other with this thing. But not really. I mean, that's not what this is about. It's about the human condition. It's about humanity. And it's got an interesting tone to it, a sound. I don't know how to describe it, but the music in Russian sounds kind of European. It sounds kind of Middle Eastern to me, or maybe, like the old psychedelic. Yeah.
Sting co-wrote that with a Russian, I'm not sure really the story. I think he more or less lifted the changes or was inspired to write the changes from another Russian composer.
Oh.
I can't I can't tell you what it is right now, but and the funny thing about that, we only performed that song once, and that was it.
Well, and what was going on is the war had just started in Ukraine, like within maybe 2 weeks prior to that performance, maybe not even that long. And the day of the performance, I told Dave, I said, I really want to perform Russians tonight. We had never done it. We had not learned it. And so we worked it up, Dave and I, and we brought it to sound check that evening. And so we put it together with our band just during sound check and brought it to the performance that night. And part of it was the war had just started. We were all so emotional about it. Tanner Taylor, our keyboard player, has family from Ukraine. He was feeling really inspired. And if you listen to his keyboard solo on that song, I mean, every time I hear that, it gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It's way cool. And like I said, it's about humanity. It's about the human condition. I forget the politics. If you don't like this song, you're not a human. I mean, because that's what it's really all about. It's not about one political side or the other. It's about the humanity of the thing. And that's what I really like. And that's Russians. And again, it's a good reason to get this just to listen to it. Because I don't know, you haven't played it very much. Are you going to incorporate it into the live stuff?
We haven't played it again.
We've never played it again.
Yeah.
We only played it one time.
That was
there you
it.
go.
That was what we got. And so, I mean, in that way, it was even more special.
Yeah, it really was.
Buy it. Okay, great. I'm going to play the next song, a little bit of it. This is Strangest Thing. Of course, you named an album after Strangest Things also. And again, these are kind of like the greatest hits that I'm playing. This song's been done a number of different ways by you guys. What about this version, Dave?
Oh, this is kind of the standard we do when we've got the 5-piece band, and so we play it through, and at the end is when we extend it, and then Tanner and I go off.
And we had our friend Amanda Nicole on some violin at the end.
A little bit of that, yeah.
All right, I'm going to play this because, again, this is a big-time crowd favorite. Let's just take a minute, folks. Bernadine won't like this, but everybody else will. Here it goes.
I would risk it all for you. I would take a fall for you. Anything I have to do just to prove my love for you. I would sell my soul for you and tell God it was something I just had to do. Sacrifice eternity for you. Love will make you do the strangest thing. Love will make you do the strangest thing. And love will make you do the strangest thing.
So there it goes.
I love the quality of the vocal.
Yeah,
for a live performance,
Yes, the whole record sounds great. Like Dave said, what a motivation, what a reason to do a live one when you can get a sound that's this good. I mean, that's just outstanding. And again, yeah, I'm all about the lyrics. There's a run of lyrics in there that all of those little analogies, I don't know what you want to call them, but I'd tell the judge it was just something that I had to do. And I mean, that's a real, I love the lyrics in that song. All right, let me.
That was a funny song as we were writing it, because Dave had come up with the line, "Love will make you do the strangest things," but we had a hard time coming up with the verses.
Yeah,
It will do strangest things. Made me get married the first time. I don't know what I did that for. Second time, okay. First time, man, I don't know. You should have told me, Ann. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but yeah, you guys weren't around. You were
crazy thing.
Sometimes you gotta take a practice.
probably in Marion County, or you were out of reach. Okay, sounds great. This Matt Grunwald. Now he's such a big head Todd and the Monsters fan, guys. They call him Big Head Matt. I love Matt Grunwald. He's a Ducharme Jones fan, big time. He's in St. Louis. Yeah, I introduced him to you guys, and he's he's come to Des Moines to see you. I mean, you didn't know it, but yeah, he drove from St. Louis to come up here and see you guys. So,
thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Grunwald is just a great guy, and I love to have him as a friend. Okay, let me keep talking here to get through the album. California, again, a beautiful song, great lyrics. That the lines in there that I love in California, where you're giving him the long stare and cocaine and cigarettes and drinking Chardonnay and all that stuff. I mean, that is California. And I mentioned the Marin County things. This is kind of a tribute or a tip of the hat by you guys to those days in California.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's kind of us poking fun, as we look back at what it was like in the 80s in California.
Yeah, and it.
We were fresh from Iowa at the time, young, kind of at the end of our teens and getting into our 20s, and Iowans in Marin County outside of San Francisco really getting an education in so many ways.
Yeah.
Really we were pretty bold to just drive out there and put together an original project and start selling ourselves. But it worked. We had a great 7 years out there.
Yeah, and the thing I like about it, the recorded version now has a lot of little tricks in it, including some audio from the radio stations there at the open and some other things. But I mean, I don't miss that at all in the live recording. Again, it's the quality of this stuff live, really good. I mean, the song really sounds great live. All right, so the next song up, this again is a big crowd favorite. I mean, by everybody, Angel. By Jimi Hendrix. And Dave, the thing I like about this, and I love the song, of course, I love Jimi Hendrix, but it's the fact that it gives you a chance to run a little bit with the guitar on the live on this song, Angel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
what do you do at the end of that song, honey?
What's that?
No, I was asking Dave, what do you do at the end of that song?
Well, we pull the riff out of Hey Joe. Where if you listen to the recorded version that we put on Unbroken, we do it more. I do it more like the original Hendrix version at the end, where he does this octave guitar thing. That's so hard to do, and to do it live, it just seemed too scripted. So I tagged that. The end or the ending riff of Hey Joe, or the middle, whatever it is that Hendrix plays on Hey Joe, at the end of Angel, so that gives us room to jam, and
because there's not really a solo on Angel.
Yeah, there really is. No, there isn't at all. Yeah,
right.
So we
made one.
Yeah, we extended at the end, and the guys all have fun doing that song. It's always a favorite with the band.
Yeah.
I like, again, this is one of those instances where I think I like the live version better than the recorded version. I just saw a guy, I don't know if he was being negative or not, Dave, but he said one of the reasons Hendrix was so different was that purposely, I think, he played out of tune. His guitar wasn't tuned like other people would tune it, and that had a lot to do with what he did. Is that true or not?
I think that's folklore, because listen to his records. He's in tune. He used a pedal that created this vibrato thing, and he used that a lot. But they were a 3-piece band, so I think he was always looking for sounds to help sort of,
flesh it out.
Build up the sound, make them sound a little bigger. But I think live, he may have suffered from tuning issues because he was crazy. He just went nuts on the guitar, and Stratocasters with whammy bars going crazy with him. Tuning will go out. And I've seen footage where he's up there and he's singing, but tuning his guitar back because he slammed it out of tune.
Well, and what were tuners like in the 60s? I mean, did they have what we have
You
now?
know, a lot of it was a doon, and the guys, they were tuning to each other.
Right.
A lot of times they did. I mean, if you try to learn some of these older songs from back in those days, you'll find tuning discrepancies. It's not all sitting at A440, It's like, well, who was in tune the most that day? And we all tuned to him. Or there was a piano in the room, we tuned to that, but it might not have been completely in tune.
Yeah, because they didn't have the kind of equipment we have now.
It wasn't quite as screwed down as tight as it used to be.
And there's something really refreshing and lovely
I can't say. I think Hendrix knew what he was doing, and I'm sure was conscious about his tuning.
Oh yeah, I don't like being screwed down tight. None of us were screwed down tight back then. Some of my favorite bands. I mean, I love the Faces. People said they were kind of sloppy. Mott the Hoople. I mean, they all over the place. I mean, I like Mott the Hoople. I mean, those are the kind of bands that I like. So you get this kind of insight about Jimi Hendrix. Let me ask you this question. Either one or both of you can respond to this. I talked to somebody, a musician, that said if you're playing live and you're having trouble reaching a younger audience, I mean, we're talking like college kids or something like that, play Hendrix. They'll jump on Hendrix. That kind of surprised me. I would not think that 20 or 30-year-old people would like Jimi Hendrix. Have you experienced that?
Not really. I mean, I can't speak.
Well, this is what I want to say.
We've had
plenty of 20 or 30-year-old people. They respond to good music, and whatever that is. Yeah. And Hendrix's songs are pretty magical.
Yeah, and it's magical on this CD. Okay, let's move along here to Little God. See, I've got another song here that I'm going to play. Okay, that's not for another couple of songs. Talk about Little God, Annie.
Little God is a cover that we did, written by one of my favorite Texas female songwriters, Patty Griffin. And she actually recorded this album, and the record company never put it out. They held on to it for like 10 years. And so when it finally came out, it must have been around, I don't know, 2015 or something. I can't remember exactly when, or 2014. But as soon as I heard that song, I was like, man, I want to sing that song. And so, I worked it up, and Dave, the band does such a good job of kind of bringing this Middle Eastern influence to that track. And every time we play it, I just love it. It's kind of intense. It's actually a story about, this is my understanding, it's a story about, Little God is like the person in charge of the record label that, kind of took control of music is what I understand. So anyway, it's a beautiful song. It's really, really a challenge to put together and perform.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of
fun.
fun.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah. I gotta ask you, we talked about Neil Young earlier. Dave, maybe you've given this some thought. Geffen Records, or his label, whoever it was, we're talking about record producers, sued him for purposely making non-commercial records because he was mad at the label or wanted to get out of his contract or something like that. Do you believe that? Is that a true story, do you think?
I have not heard that story.
Yeah.
No, but I love Neil Young. He might have done that.
I don't know.
Would not surprise me. Okay, let me move along here to Of the Water is and I almost clipped a little of this to play it out because it's a great song and it really goes to the heart of Annie's life in particular. This is a song about Okoboji, as I understand, up there in Northwest Iowa, our Great Lakes, as such as they are here in Iowa. And the sound of this thing is really cool because the sound that Dave came up with is water. Talk about that one.
Absolutely. We were living in Austin, and I wanted to write something about my past. I wanted to write something that kind of little autobiographical. And so I asked Dave to come up with some, guitar sounds that felt watery, that would remind me of Lake Okoboji. And it's kind of a moody, eerie piece. my mother died of cancer when I was 5, and I felt like the lake raised me, that Lake Okoboji mothered me through all that grief and loss. And so that's kind of what the song is about. Kind of a heavy message, but beautiful.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I would say about it is, and I've seen you do this live, where it kind of takes on a life of its own. This song will go from being kind of moody and dark and quiet, like you're talking about, and then it just kind of gets rolling, and it can be like a jump up and down foot stomper kind of a song before you're all said and done with it, turn into like a 10-minute, really heavy jam.
Well, a lot of times when Scott Sutherland is playing with us, he does an amazing bass solo on, and really it's always a fun song to do when he's in town. This particular performance, we weren't able to capture a version with Scott on it that would work on the record. Sometimes those get too long, but in this version, we had Gabe Scheid do a flute solo during the middle of that song. And, when we originally wrote that song, we had an amazing flute player, Donnie Silverman, in Austin, who performed on it. So that's part of the reason we picked that version.
Gabe played it from the sound booth, so he was back there mixing.
Oh, yeah.
And we put a mic back there, and he started playing, and people were like, where is that coming from?
Yeah.
We were live on stage. He was playing from the sound booth. It was really fun.
And this version was from an acoustic show that we did.
That's a good segue to this. Now, here's Matt Grunwald coming back in with a comment. He says, Scott is amazing. Saw him play with Mike Zito. Well,
amazing.
Yeah. And he's an award-winning bass guitarist. And you talked about that flute. And I remember back in the day, back when the early days of rock music, and everybody loved bass, but it didn't get up front very often, and then hip hop comes along, and now, it woke everybody up to the value of bass as a lead instrument in some instances. And when Scott's with the band, that's what it becomes. And it's really a great moment. The same thing with flute. People go wild for that stuff when that's incorporated into live music. And hell, I remember when it was that way with keyboards almost. You didn't hear keyboards in rock music very much. And then along comes Elton John and kablooey. The roof comes up and everybody realizes how these instruments are so great in rock and roll. Mary Knox wants to know, send us links to your performances. I'll gladly share them. That's probably easy, right? Wouldn't you recommend the XBK page for that, or what would be the best links?
You can go, those are our Monday Night Live performances, but I think on YouTube, you can just look up Ducharme Jones. We have some live performances there. Our Facebook page, Ducharme Jones, also. Please join us there.
And our website, ducharmejones.com, has our calendar, has all our listings of where we're playing.
Yeah, I've got that. Let me put this up here with the banner there. There you go. That's what it looks like, folks. Just pretty easily done. DucharmeJones.com.
And if you do go to the XBK Live page, there is, go under the Monday Night Live and look for the Ducharme Jones performances. We do have full shows that they've live streamed from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're top shelf. This ain't crap. This is not somebody holding a phone up in the back of the room or something. This stuff looks and sounds great. If you go to that XBK page and find the Ducharme Jones performances. Okay, I'm going to play this next one here because we're going to run out of time. I could talk all night about this stuff. This is a song, I Don't Need You, which people. Again, this is a song you can maybe take the wrong way, even because a lot of people kind of take this as a man-hating feminist, rant or something. But I'm going to play a little bit of this, and we'll come right back.
All right.
I don't need
Okay, so why'd you tell me you loved me last night? I doubt you remember, but that's all right. Annie, is that your lyric?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
actually,
I mean,
and
again, I love that. That is, I mean, that is some wordsmithing, man. That's great stuff.
it's
Great
really a
song.
love song. You know, it's really
Yeah.
a love
See,
song. It's
yeah.
about falling in love, but being terrified that, you know, something might not work out and not wanting to need somebody, you know, but needing
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Check it out, folks. That's wonderful. Let me go through a couple of songs here because we're coming to the end. That is the 8th song on the CD. Here it is again. And go to one of their shows and you'll be able to pick these up. I mean, throw a little money in the hat and get yourself a CD. And
or get a download. You know, I mean, nobody.
yeah,
I know a lot of people suffer from you know, not having CD players anymore.
yeah,
You know,
I've
so they
got
find it hard to, you know, find a use for these things, but
No,
yeah,
you can download it or you can listen to it on
just
Apple or
stream it
Spotify.
on everywhere. You know.
yeah, I had it. The URL is on this graphic actually for Bandcamp. Now you can download it there.
Yeah, we just opened a Bandcamp
We just
account.
did that.
We're gonna try
Yeah.
to be more active on there and put out some like oddball recordings and
Yeah. Now I copied and pasted that directly. There you'll be able to find it, but it's Ducharme-Jones.bandcamp.com. And you can go there and you can download this whole CD, particularly if you're, and I'm going to send Matt his own CD. I'm going to get one and send it to him down there in St. Louis, but he's probably already downloaded. I mean, that guy has seen everybody. My God, his experience in watching live music is unbelievable. He watches.
I love that. We need music fans in the world.
Yeah.
The world, yes.
I've been down there with him to see some of that. Okay, let me see here. What the that's I don't need you. Oh, Dirty Little Secret is next. This is really cool. This again is a meaningful kind of a deep foreboding kind of song. This one's been around for a while, but this is in almost all your shows.
Well, it is and it isn't sometimes. We wrote this song a long time ago.
Yeah.
In Austin, you know, a few years before we left Austin, but I don't think we really played it down there, but a couple of times. And I remember the first time we played it, I played it wrong. I couldn't remember what it was, so I was playing it almost like backwards. It was the weirdest thing. But a lot of people love that song. You know, they like the whatever the anger that we're having in it. You know, with
Well, did you not play it down there because it's biographical? It's about
maybe, you know, for a while, maybe we thought that wouldn't be
a little bit.
Might be too noticeable. Somebody might go.
Yeah. How would you just describe the formula for that, Dave? Again, it's a little different. I don't know if it's a little jazzy, a little. I don't know what you would call that. It's different sound.
A little free form, you know, little, you know, loose kind of, you know.
That's what I like about what Dave and I do together is I feel like we have the freedom to be as eclectic as we want to be in our songwriting. You know, there's no restraints. Or no constraints, I guess would be a better word. Right. You know, we really feel like we can write songs that are, you know, rock or, you know, a little bit of country, a little bit of jazz. I mean, at this point in our lives, we're just writing what we love and what we like to play.
It's not formulated.
Yeah.
There's no trying to work off any of that.
Yeah.
But growing up, I mean, those were the records we listened to.
Yeah.
So they're all over the place. You could buy an artist and they'd do this on one song and they'd be on this style and this song. It wasn't like just this, okay, you're this artist and so everything you do has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I really like. And that's what I tell people about your music. You've got all these influences and you'll also play rock music. And that's, you know, I'm a rock guy and you'll bust that out once in a while. I mean, I love the blues and it's a great foundation and formula. And you guys play some great blues. But I tell people my idea of a great blues band is Led Zeppelin or something. I mean, take the blues, use it as a foundation and build upon it, make it bigger and better. And that's what I like. And you know, that's what you guys do with all of these different genres. Okay. The last song on the CD is a personal favorite of mine. Again, it's kind of a bookend with you know, Beautiful on You starting. I talked about how that, you know, that would be a big time radio song back in the day. I think this song would be too. I mean, this is, and with the passing of the great Jimmy Buffett, something like that. I mean, it's it's a kind of a self-reflective, it's a meaningful song for our generation. I mean, kind of a don't worry, be happy kind of a song when I listen to that. And that,
Well, yeah, for me it was like we lived in South Austin, and it was modest, little houses and stuff. And I just got the idea of, that you don't need to have the latest and the greatest and the newest and the brightest and the, be happy with what you got, and don't lose sight of that.
You're talking about good enough.
You're talking about good enough.
It is good enough.
Yeah,
I mean, that's exactly right. And it's good for your body. It's good for your soul. I mean, and that has a lot to do with our society. Why tear ourselves apart and be so, and Annie, you know this through your work in other careers, how people get so down that they can't meet the expectations and the ideal set by someone else. Hey, you're unique. We're all good enough. Yeah.
That's so much part of the music business too. Everybody's chasing a record deal or this or that. I think the music business is incredibly guilty of musicians not feeling happy with where they're at. And again, I want to just say that where we're at in our career is pretty confident that we have a great little business here. We're happy with what we're doing. We love performing. We have an incredible music community here in Des Moines and around central Iowa. So, I want to feel really at peace and feel the joy of performing and not be trying to chase something that's the next thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to live in the moment.
Yeah, and be happy where you're at.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. Plus, you're producing art, and Matt Grunwald says that's what art is all about. I encounter this all the time, and I here's what I tell people. They'll say, "Well, I don't like that. That's no good. That sucks." Well, no, it's art. I mean, you may not like it, but it stands on its own. It's great. When we're, and talking about hip hop or rap or, even what the hell is what's that group from Des Moines that has the rage metal stuff going on? Slipknot, hell, I don't like that. But, to some people, that's the greatest music ever made. That's what art is all about. I mean,
you never know until you really sit down and listen to it. And there might be something that they do that you go, wow, that moved me. That did something to me,
Sometimes I think about those quirky little songwriters that maybe are singing a little off key or this or that. Sometimes those things would be like perfect in a piece of film, So I think there's a place for everybody's music
expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is art. Okay, I got another clip here that I want to play because I wanted to play this. And before I forget, now these guys, you're traveling all over the state. You're headed to Sioux City Saturday, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to be at the Alley Art Festival, which is going to be a combination of art and music. I think it's going to be a really fun show this weekend.
Yeah, let's hope the weather cooperates because you can run into issues with
Saturday evening in Sioux City.
All right, so let's play this. I'm not going to build it. This is what I love about this band. This is what I love about Dave's guitar. My God. And Dave, I got to tell you something. And I've told people this before. I don't think I've ever told you this, but when you play that guitar, now I've seen a lot of live music, not as much as Matt Grunwald. I've seen a lot of guitar players, but I always am reminded of the scene in Color of Money. Paul Newman, when he's sitting at the bar drinking, and Tom Cruise, who plays that Vinny character, the young, unbelievably good pool player, comes into this pool hall. And I mean, this is where Paul Newman hangs out. He's like Matt Grunwald at live music, or me seeing it. And he's not even looking at the pool tables. And he hears this break, and he hears it a couple of times, and his head snaps because, he knows that's something extraordinary. That's different. I mean, whoa, That is really good. That's what I think when I hear you play the guitar. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That's not your average guitar player there. I mean, that's not the stuff that you see in bar bands very often. That's a real head snap. And I'm not going to build you up any more than that. I'm going to play this and then we'll come right back. My God. I mean, that's not your average thing. And the other thing about that, when I listen to it, there's that big fat bass that we were talking about. Scott Sutherland sitting right in the middle of that. Back in the day, they wouldn't have done that in the mix.
Mars.
Oh, is it Ben Mars? Okay. My mistake. Yeah.
That's the other beard.
Yeah, the other beard. Yeah. But again, that bass is right in your face, right in the middle of a guitar solo. I mean, that's extraordinary. That's really great. Okay, let me see here if I've got another comment. I wanted to put this up by the great Mary Knox. I love her. Music unites us no matter where or who we are. You guys would certainly agree with that. And all right, Paul, I don't. Yeah, so there you go. Well, this is a thrill for me every time that you guys come on. I just love this. I love the fact that you're still producing music. You've done 3 CDs in pretty rapid succession here over the last several years, and you've got this live one that's out right now. I know, just knowing you, you've got more stuff in the hopper. There's more to come. I mean, we can plan on seeing some more.
We have a whole record worth of material that we are so eager to record.
That I'm so crazy about.
Yep, and we're going to start pushing it out in our live performances now, just because we want to be able to perform it before we record it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We're going to be in the studio soon. We've been talking about it and hope in the next couple of months when our schedules settle down just a little bit more.
Yeah, well, that's great.
We had rehearsal last night where we picked one of the originals that the rest of the band hadn't heard, and we all just sat around and worked it up, and it sounded so good.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
It's rock and roll.
Yeah, it's rock and roll, baby. That's what.
Reminds me a little bit of Free, a little bit.
Yeah. You know, I saw, and here's something, a little piece of music trivia. I was kind of surprised to find this out. Ronnie Van Zant, he liked Free. He was greatly influenced by them. I didn't think about that. Paul Rodgers and I would have been Free. It would have been before Bad Company. But, Leonard Skinner, you wouldn't think that there would be any similarities there. I heard that, and I started listening to him and his phrasing and his music and stuff like that. Yeah, you could see that Ronnie Van Zant and Leonard Skinner back in the day, they were influenced by Free. What a great band.
Sure. You can hear some of that stuff in there.
Yeah. Blues. Now, again, that's my idea of a great blues band. That's what I like. I mean, give me some Free, folks. I mean,
rock blues,
Yeah.
It wasn't your 1-3-5 standard, blues stuff. It was rock.
That's the kind of bluesy stuff I like.
They had cool riffs.
The Stones and things like that.
Yeah, there's a great blues band.
At the time, that's how I liked country too. More of the country rock. I mean, Lou and Graham Parsons and all those guys. I didn't really appreciate old country music until maybe
I got older.
More recently.
Yeah. Get the fundamentals, folks. Yeah. Okay. Peace, love, and understanding. Elvis Costello, you guys do that. Do that again. I mean, I love that. I mean, that's what we're talking about. That's what it's. Well, we're out of time here. We're coming up on the top of the hour. It goes by very quick. I want to give you guys last word because you deserve it. Anything here, and again, maybe tout your schedule a little bit, your websites, whatever you want to do, or anything in closing that you want to talk about. Hell, talk politics if you want to. But we're going to wrap up this live line. Give us a closer.
Well, George, first of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to come on. Congratulations on your 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, we couldn't do what we do without the support of people who love music. So we are always so grateful for the opportunity to, you know, perform for people that love it as much as we do.
Yeah.
Come to see us, you know, come to see one of our live performances. And
yeah, you know,
check out our Facebook page.
You know, of course, we're in Sioux City on Saturday, but next Friday, we're going to be at Noir in Ames, and we're going to be back up there. We're going to take our acoustic quartet, so it's going to be Jimmy and Ben and Annie and I. We're going to do our songs acoustically up there, and it's a cool little room, cool little vibey room. So if you're in and around Ames, you know, drop in on us. We're up there. I don't remember what time.
Yeah, I might make it. It's just a little road trip down in Texas. That'd be no big deal at all. I mean, Iowans, they expect to go everywhere. You know, yeah. I tell people all the time that Des Moines is a 20-minute town and the graveyard's full of people that tried to make it 15. All right, guys. Did I get that last comment on by from Matt here, because he was great. Yeah, and this is exactly right. I mean, he hit the nail on the head. Thanks, guys. Much more fun than talking about the news. Yeah, because that gets to me.
Right. Thank you, Matt. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
he's great. He's down there in St. Louis. Huge fan. All right. I'm going to say bid you adieu. We'll circle back here at some point in the future very soon. I'll see you in the show here out on the road.
All right.
Thanks, George.
Thanks, George.
Yeah, folks. And if you like seeing Ducharme Jones, Anne and Dave Ducharme Jones on Podcast by George, you like these kind of shows, you like a break, you like to see great music like this. Well, go to podcastbygeorge.com and sign up free. You can subscribe on Facebook and YouTube very easily. I'm hard to find on the other platforms because of the algorithm and the fact that Podcast by George is kind of a generic term. So don't search me on YouTube. Go to podcastbygeorge.com and click the icons there. Or if you just like to listen to the audio when you're out driving around, riding your bicycle, you know, jogging, whatever the case might be, you can subscribe to iTunes there. Also, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, every place really that podcasts are heard. But that is going to do it, folks. That's going to wrap it up. That's all there is. And there ain't no more. That's another podcast by George.